Now the way forward. Honorable Semju told you here, we assembled this morning in light of all that, just for one thing, to receive Dr. Besigye and Obedi Lutale. It's the reason we took a decision and said we cannot go back to March India. There is no business there. Allow me salute all the lawyers on the team. They are seated here. Thank you for the job well done. We have fought a good fight, and the results are on the wall. The other thing is about working out mechanisms of securing release or the release of all political prisoners, including one of our own, our colleague, the indefatigable Eroni Chiza. Eroni Chiza did nothing before that committee. He was executing his duties, his professional duties, just like many of us have been doing there, and he had to suffer that fate. So we expect Dr. Besigye, Obedi Lutale, the NUP activists or leaders, and Eroni Chiza, together with all those political actors, prisoners of conscience, who have been facing the wrath of this General Court Martial, now defunct, to be released today and now. They ought to have been released on Friday. So any continued detention is unlawful. And actually right now, the situation obtaining today, as we talk right now, it is Yoweri Kaguta Museveni versus the Constitution. The Constitution is commanding Museveni release Dr. Besigye. Now Museveni is resisting the Constitution he enacted himself. Shame. It's a command of the Constitution. What the justices of the Supreme Court did is just to restate the spirit of the Constitution. There were no innovations. There were no new things. They didn't read anything into the Constitution. They were just breathing life into this document called the Constitution, which had since become a paper tiger. And that's one reason we are commending them. They are breathing life into that document called the Constitution. So it's the Constitution one side, Mr. Museveni standing the other side. Now the battle is on. Where do we stand? So the choice is upon you all Ugandans to tell us where you stand. Do you stand with Mr. Museveni or do you stand with the Constitution? Where do you stand, Ugandans? It's a question. It's not for all of us. It's not for us who are seated here. For all of you Ugandans. Those who have been asking us, what is next? We are asking you Ugandans. Article 3 is very clear. The obligation, the onus is on all of you to ensure that this judgment is enforced. This is not a Kabaziguruka decision. You know, when you have that matter in the law, we call it a judgment in persona. When you have a judgment in persona, after the pronouncement is made, you extract the order, it is signed, we call it a decree, you take it to the bailiffs, and the court brokers enforce it. But when there is a judgment in a realm, there are two types of judgments. A judgment in persona and a judgment in realm. A judgment in realm, a judgment in persona binds the parties. If it were Kabaziguruka versus somebody else, it would be a judgment binding two parties. But a judgment in realm is a judgment that binds all of you, whether you are in court or not. So the matter, the decision in the Supreme Court, given the Kabaziguruka matter, is a judgment in realm, which binds all Ugandans. One, you are obliged to observe it. Two, you are duty-bound to enforce it under Article 3. Am I communicating? You have a duty under Article 3 to ensure that it is implemented. So, ask yourself, what have I done to ensure that Dr. Besigye is released? What is it that you can do within your capacity to cause the release of Aaron Chiza, to cause the release of Obedi Rutale, to cause the release of Dr. Besigye, Bobby Young, Machete, and others? There are so many. So ask yourself, if you have done nothing, you are committing treason under Article 3 of the Constitution. But what are we going to do ourselves? From here, a couple of things that are going to be done.